Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. On this episode, we're going to talk about self-confidence, and we're going to talk about social proof. And why I'm going to talk about this is because somebody had jumped into my live, and they were like, hey, are you certified? Do you have credentials? Who certified you? I'm like, no, I've got my own life experience. And that's how I can talk to you about what's happening with you, because you may have experienced something like mine. And this is something like what I did. And this is what I did to fix it, or this is what I did to move through the situation. I'm talking from my own life experience, right? And so I wanted to share this as it relates to self-confidence and social proof, because so many of us are looking for other people to vouch for us, or so many of us won't believe the person in front of us because we need somebody else to tell us that it's okay. So let's talk about how that hurts our relationships and what you can do about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so we have been taught to kind of focus on what other people say. We've been taught to follow trends. We've been taught to not really think independently. We've been taught to memorize when we go to school. Sit down and memorize these times tables. Sit down and memorize these words. Don't create anything. Don't think outside of the box. Look at what everybody else is doing and fit in. Have somebody vouch for you is essentially what we've been taught. Like, we do need social proof for some things. I think it's important to have, doctors not just say that, hey, I'm a doctor because I have life experience and I just did this one thing. We do need some oversight in making sure that they did get the kind of education, that they understand the same standards of practice, that they abide by the laws, and that they're up on the kind of the best kind of treatment for their patients. We want other people to validate that, and we do that through a series of certifications, things like that. The school certifications, diplomas, licenses that say, okay, this person has done this thing. They've met all the requirements, and they're capable of doing the thing that they say they're capable of doing. Sure, that's fantastic. We want some people to be like that. But looking at me as a coach, I talk about things from my own personal experience. And you can either look at these things and believe in them, or see yourself in them, or not, and let them go. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. You get to do that. You have this independent thought. You have your own feelings about any given situation, people, circumstances, experiences. You have your own feelings about these things, right? So I want to make sure that that's absolutely valid. I find it funny, of course, in this moment, as I say, you don't need validation from anybody. I am telling you what you're saying is valid. But essentially, you can just disregard that too and just do whatever it is that you want. You don't have to focus on what I say. But the point is that we've lost this idea of thinking for ourselves and focusing on how we feel about our experiences rather than what somebody else has experienced, and then being like, oh, I respect you. I trust you. I consider you, and your thoughts and your feelings must be how I should feel too. Get out of here with that. That's part of what we do as people pleasers, or what I have done as a people pleaser, looking at other people. Well, I don't know if I should smile. I don't know if I should laugh. I don't know if I should frown. I don't know if I should do anything. Let me see what everybody else does, so I don't be the odd one out, or so I don't get singled out. Like, I want to be cool. I want to be in the in crowd. So I'm not thinking for myself. I'm so desperately focused on what other people are doing and how they're responding. I've done this for so many years, and I was just like, one day, or many times, not just one day, but many times, like one day it probably just really clicked. But I started to question, like, well, if I'm focused on what they're doing, little old Coach Lee, if I'm focused on what they're doing and what they're thinking and how they're behaving, where are they getting the information to focus on themselves? Who is telling them? I want to talk to that person who's telling them how to behave. So somebody's telling them how to behave. So who is it? Where are you? And so I can just talk directly to you. So I can see that one person, and I'm like, okay, Lee. Obviously, there's nobody out there just telling them to do this one thing. To me, it was obvious. There's nobody out there just telling them to do this one thing. Maybe it was a TV that say you just got to fit in. Get in where you fit in. Stuff like that. Maybe it was somebody else or is this one person who is the trendsetter, who has the pink polo that's popped with the spiky hair, and for some reason everybody likes that person, everybody likes their character, and they're like, oh, I need to be like that because it seems like everybody likes them. But what about what you like? What about your own thoughts and your feelings and what's important to you? What about expressing those things? That person on the live, I thought, the people who follow me, who were in that live, who were listening to the conversation, I appreciate that they were like, yo, let's just listen to Coach Lee. I appreciate that they were out there because they were having their own enjoyable experience. And those are the kind of people that I attract. I attract people who just want to think for themselves and have their own feelings about the experience. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. They can challenge or whatever. I'm not the voice of authority. I'm just a person here sharing my experiences. And you listening to my experiences, you listening there, you don't have to go and share this message with somebody else and say, what do you think about it? Is it okay for me to like this? Is it okay for me to be angry with it? What about you and your own thoughts and your feelings about that? So if you were raised or experiencing things like this where you're really concerned with what other people might feel if you express yourself, I want to let you know that, one, it's absolutely normal. Of course, from what I've been saying for the last few minutes here, we've been taught that's how we need to behave. That's how society works, is you just follow the leader. That independent thought is different, or it shows that you're different from other people, and humans naturally fear the things that they don't understand. So if you show up different in some way, and people are not capable of understanding you, and you'll be like, oh, I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. People are going to be afraid of you and your differences. There's a whole lot of reasons why you just want to focus and see what other people are doing and then look back to see if it's okay to do what you're doing. There's a whole lot of reasons. I just want to let you know that, of course, that experience is valid. I've lived it for several years, and people continue to live it. But I want to ask you, how does it benefit you in the long run? Because one thing that happened with me is that, oh yeah, I felt safe for a while, but these people don't know me. These people don't know me. I'm pretending that I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm pretending that I like the Power Rangers. I'm pretending that I like their sense of fashion and I want to wear lip gloss. I'm pretending all of these things. But what I really want to do is read a book. I want to read some kind of sci-fi fantasy book and maybe write my own fan fiction about the characters. And nobody else around me would get that. You feel so lonely. If you're steady looking at other people for validation of how you need to behave or would feel, if you're doing it because you need to feel safe, then, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Feel safe. Be safe. But once you reach that point when you're physically, financially, and emotionally independent from people, this is where you do that switch. This is where you empower yourself to make all the decisions that you want, regardless of how the rest of the world is going to respond to you. Do what feels good. Express yourself to other people. I know it's a painful journey. People aren't going to like you because not everybody likes everybody. Not everybody understands everybody. But you're going to find those people who really do appreciate you, who really do accept you, who are really interested. Those people who were hiding before. And they're like, oh, wow, you're so brave. I've always wanted to talk about vampire fan fiction. I've always wanted to write some sci-fi fan fiction. And look, I'm an animator too. I can even animate it. And there you go. You have this cool friendship, this cool relationship over this thing that you felt so much shame about because you're so focused on what other people believe that you should be or you should feel. You don't have to check in with those people. You just check in with yourself and your intuition. Check in with yourself and your intuition. So that person, the person that said the thing on the live, they were like, hey, what are your credentials? I'm grateful that you came into the room because it sparked some really interesting thoughts for me in this whole podcast episode. So thanks. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. This week's letter, it's called Friendlessness. I'm struggling to find the right words to express how lonely I've been feeling lately. Despite having a boyfriend, there's a profound sense of isolation stemming from the absence of a close friend. It's a peculiar feeling, especially considering I've never had such a wide circle of acquaintances before. My so-called best friend and I have known each other for over a decade, practically since high school. However, something has shifted recently between us, and we've drifted apart. Even when we do talk, our conversations are limited to politics. For the past few months, I've practically been a recluse, battling feelings of depression exacerbated by stress-induced weight gain and the diagnosis of PCOS. This overwhelming loneliness has taken a toll on my well-being. While my boyfriend is incredibly supportive, having a best friend offers a different kind of solace. The camaraderie, the outings, the late-night calls, it's a unique bond. I'm 26 and currently focused on my master's studies without a job. I found myself at a loss for how to meet friends. So, wow, I mean, did that hit y'all in the feels? Did you feel something by that? Because it's real, right? And I picked up this one. I picked this one because I'm thinking, the relationship with your friends are different. There's a different kind of camaraderie. that they talk about. You actually can talk about your boyfriend to your friends. I mean, I highly recommend it. You need to have a support system of people when there's a problem in your romantic relationship. And I think that's why I picked this up and I wanted to talk about it, because it is, you get into these romantic relationships and there's such a powerful pull to recreate the kind of relationships that you had as you grew up, the family of origin relationships, the ones that have been modeled to you, and you really don't even know that it's happening. And there's this physiological drive also to mate. To mate, but there's this drive to do that too, and it just messed up your emotions. It messes with your mind. It messes with your physiological sense of self, because you get all hot and heavy with this person and you forget that they annoy you sometimes, or you look at them a certain way and you think that they're different than what they really are. It's the rose-colored glasses. It's all those things that put you in situations in which it doesn't allow you to be yourself. And when I say doesn't allow you to be yourself with your partner, it's a wild concept. There's a lot of people believe that your partner is supposed to be your best friend, but those things that I just mentioned, the rose-colored glasses, it's like you look at them, their behavior, and if you weren't wearing the rose-colored glasses, if you weren't seeing them in the light that you're seeing, then you would have a more objective picture, and you would probably be more apt to express how you feel about some of the things that they do that you brush off. Instead of just brushing it off, you'd be like, oh, this is how I really feel about this thing, So I think it is really, 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 really important to be able to talk to someone else who can maybe take those rose-colored glasses off of you, help you see a different point of view, help you see something, talk about something. So you need an anchor, a friendship, a relationship outside of your romantic relationship to help you be closer to that person in a romantic relationship. And I'll say that one more time. You need to have somebody outside of your relationship to help you see your romantic relationship better, so that you can get closer in your romantic relationship, so that you can talk about some of the things that are happening with somebody else who can say, take the rose-colored glasses off, or you weren't tripping, you weren't being crazy, they did something absolutely wrong, or maybe even you did something that upset your partner that you can't see. You see it's reasonable and you do whatever it is that you want. Maybe you raise your voice at them. Maybe you tell them to do things many times. Maybe you are not being considerate of them because you're in your own bubble. You have your own thoughts and desires about how this person should behave. And if you continuously act the way you do, and let's say you keep getting into fights, it would be really helpful to have somebody on the outside as an anchor who can help you out, who can talk to you like, girl, you being unreasonable. That's crazy. That's wild. Let's say crazy, but that's wild. Like, just think about it here. Let's process. Let's talk about it, somebody that you trust, because there's a different kind of camaraderie, right? They know you, and they don't have this deep emotional bond. They don't have this they do have the deep emotional bond with you. Okay, yeah, they do have that thing, but they don't have that kind of romantic relationship thing that does something to your amygdala and turns all that stuff off, let all the emotions just flow out. They don't have that. They have some more objective advice or insight for you, and you trust them. So they're going to help you repair your relationship when they can tell you what's wrong or what they observed and things like that. So that's one reason, it's very important to have a relationship outside of your boyfriend. And this is a gender thing, because they're dating a man and they want to have a female friend. So that's even another thing to talk about. Women can get together and talk about something that's related to only what women experience. And it's nice to be able to have that. You might have the most feminine boyfriend that there is of all time, the most feminist boyfriend who's going to fight for your rights, going to march, going to wear pink hats, going to do all that stuff for you. But they do not know what it feels like every month when that thing comes. They don't know. They don't know. They don't want to talk about other relationships or boys or men or whatever you're talking about, makeup, foundation, They may not have the same hobbies, even if it's not even gender specific, but you want to go out and do something with a person who knows and likes the same kind of things. You can't put all of that on your romantic relationship or it's going to fail. It will fail. And this is what this person is talking about. I mean, they're focused on a master's studies right now and they don't have a job. So they're like, well, I don't know how I make friends. I don't know how I connect with people. Because if you haven't been in a master's study, I've never had the gumption to go for it. I've dated a person who did, and I had a friend who got a master's, and it was just really, really stressful. It's a lot of time and energy that you have to put into it. There's really not much time to go out and do things, I suppose. That's what they're saying. Here, they're really focused because there's a lot of work to do within the master's study, but they don't know where to go to meet people, and they have a deep desire to do so. And what I would say to you, the person who wrote this, is that, there is, if you do this with intention, if you're really, really intentional about who you want to meet, you can spend some time in places meeting people, having conversations with them. And the first step of my coaching program is to help people understand where they need to go, what it is that they're looking for in the first place. So I often talk about how people are like, yeah, I want friends, I want support, I want a relationship, I want this, I want respect, I want that, I want the third thing, I want all these things. And they're saying, yes, but I don't know where to go to find them. And if you don't know where to go, people are going to bring you their version of whatever it is. They're going to bring you their version of a friendship. They're going to bring you their version of respect. And you're going to be like, what is this? This is not what I wanted. I'm so frustrated. I don't even want to talk to people. You might move into that space. But if you are intentional about being in places where there are people who are doing the things that you want to do, who like the kind of stuff that you like, then you can have better connections with people. And if you don't know any of that, you're like, I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I like. I just want somebody to talk to. You're going to be in a world of disappointment because you're going to be spinning around. I just want someone to talk to about what particularly. And this is going to help you get to those places. If you are so lonely, you're so frustrated with the fact that you are lonely and not able to talk to people, not able to meet people, you have to be able to do something about it. It's you who can make the change in your life. Don't just say, look, I don't know where to go. This is, if you're feeling, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, that means you need to spend more time with yourself to know what you like. Know what it is that you're interested in, and then go to places where people are doing those things that you're interested in. Listen, if you say you don't have time to do this, I want you to think about every time you think, I don't have time, I can't, I don't have time to do this, I'm too busy. Think about those times when you're at your absolute loneliest, when you're lonely. You did that because you weren't prioritizing going out to meet people, to connect with people. You didn't make the effort to do so. You didn't make the effort to learn about what's important and fun to you and then go to those places. You have the power. You have the ability to do so. So what is worse? Is it that pressure of time, or is it just like you don't know where to go? Because I've been in that place where it's just been absolutely dark and lonely. And I was like, wow, just nobody cares. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to talk to me. And as soon as I started figuring out me and liking me and going to places and talking about me, that changed. And it will happen with you too. As long as you make an effort, stop saying that you're too busy, you've got this. You will make it happen. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.